let's talk about GPT-4. And really, that's just the latest version of ChatGPT. They're always enhancing, they're always making updates, but this is a major update to go from 3 and 3.5 to 4. So let's talk about GPT-4. And in this lesson, we're going to hit some of the highlights of GPT-4. What are some of the improvements, things like around word limits and images. This is something new and big, using images as opposed to just text. So you're going to see some interesting stuff with that. And also, how can you, and other highlights I'm going to share with you as well. And then how can you get GPT-4? There's different classes or levels. And what I'm showing in this course is the free version. It's awesome. You can use ChatGPT for free and do all the stuff you're seeing in the course. But there's also paid versions and different levels. And so we're going to talk about that in relation to GPT-4. After you see some highlights, we'll talk about some use cases where companies are already out there using GPT-4 in some of the things that they're doing with it as part of the early test sites. And I'm going to give you some really awesome additional resources at the end for if you're interested in this. You can learn a whole lot more, particularly if you're a coder or a developer. A lot of good resources there too. But for everyday folks who want to use it to be more productive, you'll have some additional resources as well. So first off, one of the big highlights on enhancements is the word limit. With GPT, you can put in prompts and things, and you can copy paste stuff and be looking at stuff. Up to typically it was about 3,000 words. Now you're going up to 25,000 word limit with GPT-4. So if you're trying to analyze big documents, let's say for example, or big lines of code, maybe you're cutting, copying, and pasting, or putting into GPT to debug or analyze, you have a lot more flexibility to do that and a much higher word limit with GPT-4. So if you've been finding yourself a little bit limited in the free version of ChatGPT in terms of, let's say, summarizing documents or putting in long prompts, that's where GPT-4 might be able to help you. I think the bigger, even more exciting thing is the use of images. In the course, we're going to talk a lot about text, right? And it's a very text-based, generative text AI type stuff, and that's great. But now we're looking at how can we analyze images using artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, and that is something that's going to be big with GPT-4. In fact, when I'm recording this, it's just coming out. I mean, I did the first day it came out, GPT-4. So if you don't see the image capability yet, it's coming where you can analyze images and do stuff with images. I'm going to show you some demonstration here now. So if we look at this image, you'd say, okay, what is it? Well, it's a bunch of balloons in the middle of a street or field. Maybe it's connected to, I don't know what that is, an anvil or a chair or whatever, right? So, but you can ask ChatGPT to tell you more, to do some analysis on it. Something like, what would happen if the strings were cut? In the ChatGPT's answers, the balloons would fly away in GPT-4. Now, to us, that's common sense, right? But if we start thinking about, well, this is artificial intelligence giving us a more reasoned thought behind it, as opposed to like, I don't know, the string would be in 2 pieces, something like that. So it's giving you a lot more thought and reason behind it with this newer version of GPT-4. If we look at another example here, what is funny about this image, right? Describe it panel by panel. And you can look at the image, look at that cord there, that VGA cord being plugged in. You might say, oh, that looks different. And that's really what GPT-4 would respond with, right? It's analyzing the image, right? So GPT-4 is analyzing the image, producing this output. This is from OpenAI and from Reddit as far as this example. But it's like panel 1's a smartphone with a VGA connector. Panel 2's got a lightning cable with a VGA connector, an old VGA connector, and panel 3 close-up of a VGA connector. And it says at the end, the humor in this image comes from the absurdity of plugging in large, outdated VGA connector into a small, modern smartphone charging port, right? So that's the idea. Now, this is, again, OpenAI that's giving us back this answer, or artificial intelligence, or ChatGPT with GPT-4. It's like saying, okay, we can see what this is, and now we can even take it a step far as understanding what's the absurdity in this and have some more enhanced reasoning. But, this is fun stuff, but how about like something like this? If I was to ask you, what is this? You would say, well, it's obvious, Steve. That is a power range neutron monitor, more affectionately known as a PRNM. And you know that because you read the slide, hopefully. But it's actually used, it's a monitor for nuclear power. You look at the source there at the bottom of the screen, we got from GE. It's a nuclear power monitor. So think about how artificial intelligence or image analysis and things like that might be able to help us in different areas of commerce or business or life, for that matter. And back to more fun things like, what can I make with these ingredients, right? You've got some ingredients, and can GPT-4 tell us what we can make? Sure it can. You know, there's lots of different options. You can make pancakes or waffles or crepes or quiche or whatever, right? And then you could go in more detail, you know, like if there's a certain type of crepe or an omelet or something you want, you could tell, like, I've also got vegetables, what kind of omelet can I make, or something, right? So it's the idea that it's analyzing pictures. This is the difference. I'm not typing in the text saying, I have milk, I have eggs, I have flour, and I have, not sure what's in the other bowl, or cream, or is that more eggs? I don't know. It's analyzing the picture to tell me this. So this is really enhanced stuff where it's not looking at pictures beyond text as well. So I like bulldogs, for example. This is, do you know what kind of bulldog this is? This is a French bulldog, but and I'm going to show you a way where right now you can't copy and paste in like a picture. By the time you're watching this, maybe that will change, but I'm going to show you a workaround on that and how you can get at this image stuff, because if you just try to copy it and paste this picture, it's not going to work, all right? So one way you can do it is to find a link to some picture that you're interested in. And I did this on the free version of ChatGPT. I tested it on that to see, hey, will this work? And maybe they'll turn this off, I don't know. But right now, this is working. This worked for me. If you don't have a broken link or something, I said, what is this image? And I gave the link to that French bulldog picture, and it said, this link you provide is the image of a French bulldog. And it goes on to talk about French bulldogs, and they have distinctive bat ears, and they have breathing difficulties, spinal disorders, all sorts of stuff, right? Just from me saying, what is this link? What is this image? And then I could then have my conversation with my artificial intelligence assistant and say, tell me more, right? I mean, you take that a little bit further, it's the same thing. Like, what is this image? And it goes into its balloons tied to a table. There's 3 of them. It's interesting that it's recognizing from this image that there are 6 balloons tied to a 3-step table in a summer meadow. Who knows if it's summer, it could be spring, but it's green, so it's thinking it's summer, right? So it's taking that image. And so now if it knows that, could I say, well, what happened if the strings are cut? And I asked this in the free version, and it said ChatGPT 3.5, and not GPT-4, by the way. And it says if the strings were cut, the balloons are going to fly away to the helium inside. And it goes on, and even has a little message at the end about hazard to the environment and wildlife. We're going to chew on the balloons and choke to death or whatever. So you can see that it's now analyzing these images. So right now they're saying this is not available, but if you use the links, then you have, like to an image, then you can kind of do a workaround even with a free version. We'll see if that stays around. That might change, but you know, I want to share that little extra bonus tip for you. A couple of things with GPT-4 real quick here is, one is enhanced reasoning. You know, using, like, here's an example of having the same prompt but different results. You know, one of the criticisms with ChatGPT is it's not perfect. I mean, this is evolving stuff. We're on the early edge of this, right? So it's usually really good, but it's not perfect. And if you look at these 2 inputs, one's on the free ChatGPT 3.5, the regular one, and then the GPT-4, the enhanced one with the enhanced reasoning, the inputs are exactly the same. They're the exact same prompt, copy and pasted. The outputs are a little bit different, but it'll show you a summary of the availability of these 3 team members, right? Andrew, Joanne, and Hannah, right? But if you see in the where it's highlighted in the red, they come up with different times. And the one on the left is wrong. The regular GPT is wrong. You see, it's wrong. And why is it wrong? Because if you look closely at Andrew, he's available 11 to 3, but it's scheduled for 4. We can say, oh, you can do it at 4 because it's, I don't know, it's outside the availability. It's just plain wrong. Where with the enhanced reasoning and better results is what they're looking for with GPT-4. So if you're using, let's say, the free version of ChatGPT, and you're not getting the results you wanted, maybe it is time to step up to GPT-4 as far as a paid version. We're going to talk about that a little bit here too in just a moment. Yeah, about free and paid versions. And then improve safety and security guardrails, around, different concerns that all artificial intelligence has. They're continuing to improve. OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, have been very forthcoming, and they're very honest about saying, look, we know we're not perfect. We're continually improving this. We want people using the system so we can see where it goes off the rails, so to speak, and so how we can make this better. Okay, so let's talk about how can you get ChatGPT GPT-4, and it's through ChatGPT Plus. So do see the lesson on ChatGPT Plus, which is the paid version of ChatGPT. The course is filmed all on the free version, so you can use the free version, and if you want to get the paid version, you get more uptime, you get some other things, but now you're going to get GPT-4 on the paid version. And this is from OpenAI, this is the source from them, and they're talking about that if you buy right now, and if it's available in your country, and you buy the ChatGPT Plus, the monthly subscription, you get GPT-4. They're going to put some usage caps on initially, because they're just going to get a lot of demand on it as people are trying to break it and try to use the system. So be aware there'll be some usage caps initially, but then that'll open up. Then they may even introduce a new subscription level for higher volume GPT-4 usage. You see in the second paragraph. So that's their way of basically having different tiers of sales. That gets to be more marketing, basically. And they also hope at some point to offer some amount of free GPT-4 queries, so those without a subscription can try it too. At least maybe give you a few queries around, let's say, images or whatever. But who knows? At this point, you can't. So really right now, if you want to do some GPT-4 stuff, you have to buy the ChatGPT Plus monthly subscription. Buy it for a month, try it out. What I said in that other lesson about free ChatGPT versus ChatGPT Plus, not a lot of reason to go to the GPT Plus, but that they were going to add stuff. And they did. Now they have GPT-4 you get through the Plus version, so they have to keep making Plus better. But try the free version, try what you're learning in this course. It's probably going to be fine for most of, if not everybody, 90% or more, 95% or more. But you can look at it if you want to get this GPT-4 as a power user. That's where you need to go with ChatGPT Plus.